Welcome to the Smooth Force Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Lamar, and I have the honor to introduce my friend Gina Onayiga. How you doing, Gina?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for being on the podcast. You are an interesting person, and I definitely chose you to be on this podcast for all that you have. So let me start with you're a licensed clinical social worker, a psychotherapist, holistic
Mhm.
health coach, and a yoga instructor. You're doing all of that. So that's big. That's big right
Yes, I
there.
am.
I like that. And what's especially nice about you is you're a yoga instructor, but you deal with mental health. So I kind of want to start off with one question in reference to mental health and then kind of like move on into the fitness side of it, which also involves mental health. So first let me say, and I get ripped for this. I get critiqued, talked about, and all this stuff for saying this, but I'm gonna stand by it. I like people a little bit more who have hobbies. Okay. And the people who kind of get at me and beat me up on that are normally the folks who don't really have hobbies. I'm not gonna say I don't like people who don't have do not have hobbies. I like people a little bit more if they have hobbies. And you made a statement or is on one of your posts and you said sometimes self-care has to be deeper than a mani and a pedi. So could you
Yeah.
explain? I like it, but can you explain it for the audience?
Okay. So I think there's this idea that self-care is cute. Like it's a mani and a pedi. It's going to get your favorite coffee from Starbucks. But
Hmm.
sometimes it has to be deeper than that because life gets hard at times.
That's
So
true.
I like to break it down into like, let's just do mind, body, and spirit. So, if I'm heavily stressed about life right now, is a Manny really going to get me at a place where I feel grounded? For some
Yeah.
people, maybe. But for
Hmm.
others, I do encourage you
Hmm.
to think a little deeper. Like maybe I do need to
Yeah.
go to therapy to process some of what's happening.
Mm.
Um, say you just suffered a huge loss. That Manny and Petty's not gonna make you feel better tomorrow. Maybe
Hmm.
for a moment, but you may have to talk about it. You may have to move your body to get some of that energy of grief out. So I
I
like to
like
think
it.
about self-care in the terms of mind, body, and spirit. What does my mind need right now? What does my body need? And what's gonna uplift my spirit if I'm taking care of myself in a holistic way.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. It makes perfect sense. I'm in complete agreement with that statement there. Uh, and kind of leading more into the fitness side of it is you're a yoga instructor and your style is different from the style that's traditional in the everyday common gym. Okay, so
Yes.
what style are you an instructor of, and what's the difference between that traditional what you see at whatever commercial gym?
So I teach both. So I'm a registered yoga teacher, 200 hours. That's what I studied. That's like your traditional yoga. And then
Okay.
I took it a step further and became certified in a practice called Afro Flow Yoga.
Hmm.
So my preference is to teach gentle yoga or something that's restorative, something that's very mellow, something that's very calming and grounding. I like
Okay.
to I like to be the person that introduces folks to yoga. So I have a lot of folks that will say that are curious but don't feel like the space is for them. And sometimes when they see that it's something that I'm into, they kind of trust me to engage in that experience. So
Okay.
Afro flow yoga is, I'll start with my story. So when I started practicing yoga, I noticed that I was most of the time the only Black person in the room. So I
Hmm.
started researching one day to find out where my folks are, where do other people like me practice. So
Hmm.
after a few Google entries, I came across Afro Flow Yoga. and it was offered
Okay.
at Alvin Ailey. So that practice included traditional dance, traditional like Afro-Caribbean dances and live drumming and
Mm-hmm.
yoga. And
Nice.
I love to dance, so I felt like it was a beautiful marriage of two things that I really enjoy to do and two things that really help center me. Um, so Afro Flow Yoga combines your traditional yoga with dance and the sounds of live drumming throughout the class.
Okay. Okay.
And
You're teaching Afro flow yoga as well, or is that just a yoga that you participate in?
I teach it.
You teach it.
I'm a
Nice. Nice.
certified teacher with Afro Flow Yoga.
Nice. Okay. So what do you want your students to get out of the class? Like once that class is over, or once the class is going, while the class is going on, what do you want your students to get out of it?
I want my students to take the time to connect with themselves,
Mm.
kind of be in a space where they recognize where they're in the present. I think on the day to day, you're getting through your day, going to work, getting all your tasks done, and it's so easy. Even what you said with the hobbies, your hobbies take you away from what the day to day is. You're really built in time to do something that
Yes.
brings you joy, and sometimes that's hard for a lot of people. So folks that come to my class, I want them to be in the present and really connect with themselves. Take a breather, disconnect from everything else that they have to do, and just really sit with themselves. And also, I also believe that whatever you do on the mat is something that you could take with you and practice in real life. So if this posture feels a little hard today, are you still pushing through it? Are you breathing through it?
Hmm.
Um, are you allowing yourself to not get it right the first time and not beat yourself up for that? Are you just internally, how are you working through this process, this hour and a half on this mat? Um, Another thing that's important to me that I want my students to take away is just liberation, just freedom. Just freedom to not get it right this time, freedom to let go, freedom to not worry about any judgment from yourself or anybody else in the room. So I would say those are a
What?
few things that I really want my students to walk away with.
I like it. I like it. I did yoga before. I did yoga twice, two different styles of
Okay.
yoga. I did the traditional yoga, which is just, you're in a regular room, you're doing the poses, and I did hot yoga. And hot
Mm-hmm.
yoga, and this is actually why I wanted you can see yourself a
I do.
yogi. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this is why I wanted a yogi on the podcast because it's so beneficial to the body. Like from gym training, outdoor running, swimming, everything. Yoga is phenomenal for the body. And I did yoga a few times, hot yoga. I
So,
did it, I said it's another episode. I only do it in the winter because it's so hot in there that it's
mm-hmm.
just too hot to do it over the summer. But I don't know if I have a matter of fact, this is a question. I don't know if I have the coordination to do your yoga. I don't know. Can someone with two left feet get in there and just can they get by or what?
Yes, they can get by.
They can get by.
They can
Okay.
get by.
They can
This
get
is
by.
not a practice where you have to. That's the thing. When I say I want my students to leave with that sense of liberation and freedom, it's releasing
Okay.
all those ideas of, well, I can't catch this step or I can't do this, I can't do that. I want you to release all of that and just do whatever you feel like doing.
I like that. I like that. There's hormones released. There's four feel good hormones. So you have dopamine, serotonin, uh, endorphins, and oxytocin,
Hmm.
which are released when you eat well, when you eat healthy, when you exercise, when you have fun. And it sounds like, I saw your videos that everyone has a smile on their face from ear to ear. And I and
Yes.
that's releasing positive hormones, feel good hormones. So in relation to mental health, if you can go somewhere and have fun, feel good, smile, and be around other individuals who are doing the same thing, not to say it's going to eliminate your issues, whatever's going on in your life, but there's a moment where you can kind of be free and just enjoy yourself and just appreciate the positives and the greatness and the good people around you. So that's why I like what you're saying so much, and I encourage people to
Yes,
go there and check it out. I think it's wonderful, definitely wonderful.
that's
So
exactly it.
yes, keep going. I'm sorry. So it's nice that folks can come to a location, do their yoga, not worry about someone in the corner laughing at them. Just be themselves, enjoy themselves, listen to the music. I saw some of the videos, there's drumming, there's a lot going on, and just leave those whatever issues going on alone wherever they are. So with that said, if someone wanted to contact you, where will they contact you?
You can contact me on Instagram, Gina, Gina underscore LCSW. And that way we can keep in touch and then I can keep you posted on when classes are happening. And that's exactly the vibe, Lamar. It's always a safe space in that
Nice,
room where you can kind of just let go.
nice. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Well, Gina, I appreciate you being on the podcast. I hope anyone out there who's interested in Fro yoga or just any type of yoga, they reach out to you and they just reap the benefits of the form of exercise, the form of relaxing. So once again, thank you for being on the Smooth Force podcast,
And
and we'll
thank
definitely
you.
speak
Thank you for
again.
having me.